Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana Gerimky and I'm a family law attorney. I've been practicing for 22 years and today I wanted to answer questions that clients often ask me, and that is, what is a family court hearing and what happens at the hearing? So a family law hearing is just the process in court where a motion having something to do with the family court case or your divorce case is heard by the judge and decided. So these days it is done by Zoom in 99% of the cases. There is a certain link that you will get in the documents where you would go and you will appear there, the other side will appear there, and a bunch of other cases will also be there. And then the person who helps the court commissioner during the hearing will figure out the order in which they call it. I can never figure out any rhyme or reason behind the order. But in any event, you have to patiently wait until your case is called. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself because before the family court hearing takes place, someone has to file a motion. Without a motion, no hearing will take place. So what is a motion? So a motion is just a written document where one of the parties asks the court to do something. So it can be a motion for attorney's fees, it can be a motion for a temporary parenting plan, a motion for child support. And most often this happens after the divorce is filed, but it hasn't been finalized yet. So you are in this middle stage. I think I called it stage 2 in my prior video about the stages of the divorce process. So it's temporary order stage. And you're asking the court to order some temporary relief, meaning it will only last until the final orders are entered. And there are certain rules and requirements, and it's very important to follow these rules. First of all, in King County, you have to reserve your court hearing in advance, and you do it on the court's website. There are not enough court commissioners, so it's very important to go in, check the calendar, and pick the date that is available. So once you reserve the date, you have to file your motion. Again, it's important to check the local court rules because, for example, if you're asking for financial relief, you have to collect certain documents. You have to collect 6 months of all bank statements, 2 years of tax returns. You also have to fill out, sign, and file a document called financial declaration, which basically sets forth your budget. And if you don't do it, the court will refuse to grant the relief and your hearing will be continued to a different date. And you don't want that to happen. So what happens at the hearing? So like I mentioned, you show up on that date and you argue only what was in writing, what was presented in writing. The person who filed the motion goes first, then there's a response by the other side, and then there's a short rebuttal allowed to the party who filed the motion in the first place. So one thing to remember is that, especially in King County, the courts are very busy, and so they only let us argue for 5 minutes. So whether you're doing it yourself or you have an attorney there, don't be surprised that the argument itself is very short. But you can be assured that the court commissioner at that time will have read everything that was submitted in writing. So once you do the argument, in 99% of the cases, the court commissioner will make a decision right away. Although sometimes they say, well, the issues are complicated, let me think about it, and I will follow up with a written decision a little bit later, usually just in a couple of days. But once the decision is done, it will be in the form of a court order, and it will be signed by the judge. So one other important point I want to make about the hearing is that if you're not represented by a lawyer, make sure that you act professionally. So when you make your argument, don't interrupt the other side. Certainly do not argue with the judge. Dress appropriately in some sort of a business casual. Don't eat or drink anything during the hearing, things like that. Basically, even though it's done by Zoom, the decorum that you should be observing is the same as it would have been if you were live in the courtroom. So hopefully this answers some of your burning questions about what happens at a court hearing and how to prepare.